So thank you guys for tuning in. Now, let me introduce our special guest. She's going to be a fun one tonight. She's so spunky, guys. I just love her personality. She's fun to be around. She's somebody that I've gotten to know a little bit better over the past few weeks. We'll get into why later. But Natalee Weidner is the range monkey, and she's become an internet sensation by posting what she calls the Chronicles of the Range Monkey on the Active Self-Protection Extra YouTube channel. So make sure you go over there and check that out. Active Self-Protection was founded by John Correia, and Natalee's parents, Neil and Stephannie Weidner, are a huge part of Active Self-Protection. Natalee, along with her dad, Neil, documents her firearms journey there, and she has become a good role model for young shooters in the industry. So let's bring Natalee on. Hey, Natalee.
Hi.
So glad you're with us tonight.
Me too. It's great to be here.
I love seeing you like all dressed up. You're looking so good and your background is so nice. Natalee and I did not coordinate outfits tonight, guys. So we're not matching very well, but that's okay, right?
Yeah, we'll get it
All
next
right.
time.
So yeah, we'll get it next time. So Natalee, tell me the backstory about the range monkey. How did all of this come about? How did you get this name? We want to hear.
Right. So I feel like we've gone over it a couple of times before, but I think we've touched on a few different parts in a few different places. It all started with my dad waking me up at whatever hour and telling me, "Hey, I need your help in Boise. We got to leave in half an hour to get on a plane." And so I just packed up all my stuff and I went to help RSO for a class there. And I wasn't really knowing what to expect. I was kind of expecting it to be a boys' club. There were a few like cops or retired. There were some retired cops there too. I think there was mostly just regular folks, but I don't know. Everybody was pretty intimidating to me as I think I was 16 or 18. So I got there and I wasn't really knowing what to expect, but I was met with a lot of support and encouragement, and everybody was just very encouraging to my character growth and really wanting me to succeed as much as they were wanting to succeed. And I thought it was crazy how inclusive it was. So I really liked it. And then I got back to South Dakota, and a few months later, Dad asked if I'd want to come and help him RSO for a class in Sioux Falls. And I decided, yeah, why not? And we go up there, and I loved that range, and I got a job there and worked there for a couple years, and everything just kind of snowballed into what it is now. I kept working with Active Self-Protection while I was still working at the Alliance, and on the weekends I would go and shoot with Dad on the range, or I would go to classes, and we would just record it and put it on the channel. And I didn't really know that it was going to turn into anything, but I'm
That's
really
awesome.
excited that it did. So yeah.
And then the whole range monkey phenomenon began. But the range monkey thing started, didn't John say that like somebody yelled out, "Hey, we need a range monkey" or something
Yeah.
because somebody wasn't there and they needed somebody, and so you became that,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, it
And then
was
that
right
turned in
around the COVID time, and my mom
right.
has
Oh,
asthma, and
that's
so
right. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, so she had a sniffly nose, and she was like, "I'm going to get Sparta kicked off of this plane." And so she decided, better not go. So John was
Yeah.
telling Neil, he was like, "Hey, we need somebody to go pace targets. We need somebody to answer questions, make sure nobody's pointing guns where they're not supposed to. We just need a range
Right.
monkey to go fill mags."
Yeah. I think
And
that's
Dad was
cool how
like,
that came about.
yeah, yeah. Dad was like, "Let me go see what Natalee's doing."
That's
Mm,
awesome. So you just
yeah.
never know what's gonna happen. So then, okay, so you worked for the range, but then didn't you say too that you worked in security for a while?
Yeah, that was at the range. I didn't think that that would ever be a part of my journey. I was so excited when I did, though. I've always been a little bit of a tomboy.
Mhm.
So I was just so excited that I got to wear my security shirt and my walkie-talkie with the curly wire that goes up to my ear. That was the best part. And then, of course, concealed carrying, pepper spray, stuff like that. And it was interesting having to convince people that I was security.
They didn't
um,
believe you?
They didn't believe me. I looked like I was there for take your daughter to work day whenever I was walking with any of the boys. But eventually, people started kind of recognizing me as that girl who works in the range. And after about a year, I feel like I stopped getting so much crap.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so the security was really fun. I got to do security for some concerts, for some like political events, and it was pretty cool. Got to do some cool stuff.
That's awesome. So
Yeah.
then another piece that we talked about the other day too was the role that your mom and dad have in all of this. Like obviously they're part of the reason that you're doing what you're doing and but they're a huge part of your support system as well. Can you kind of puzzle piece that into, your whole story for us?
Right. Yeah. Well, I think so. My mom was on this channel a while ago, and you guys kind of got to
Mhm.
hear her story if you tuned into that one.
Yeah, that's a
Um,
great interview.
it really was.
I loved it.
um, and I thought it was interesting hearing it from my mom's perspective because I got to see that from her youngest daughter's perspective. I'm the youngest of those four girls, and so I just got to see my mom, go from being a stay-at-home mom to somebody who moderates comments for, this YouTube channel. And then that all of a sudden snowballs into her becoming the CEO. It was really inspiring. And I mean, if she can walk with that much confidence, even when she falls down and even when she makes mistakes, then I guess I can too.
Yeah, you've got some pretty darn good role models, Natalie, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So we've gotten
Um,
to know each other a little. Oh, were you gonna say something else?
well, I was going to talk about dad a little bit and how
Well, of
he,
course. Yes, of course. Talk about dad.
yeah.
Don't wanna leave him
Well,
out.
yeah, no, of course not. Well, dad has always, always, always been my range partner. When I was younger, I was doing 4-H shooting sports. And it was my dad and me and my sister Madison, who's here in the comments. And we went to the range like 3 times a week, every week for like 3 years or something like that. And um, I don't know, I just always had dad behind me coaching me, and he really made shooting fun and educational, and he really shaped what an instructor looks like in my head.
Mhm,
He's a really well-trained empath, and that's kind of what
mhm,
I aspire to be. So,
mhm.
really good role models and a very, very good support system.
And let's define what empath is. I think I actually looked it up because you were using that word and I'm like, I wanna make sure I know exactly what that means. So, I looked it up. It says an empath is a person highly attuned to the emotions of those around them. So, you're saying in your opinion, a good instructor would be somebody that's attuned to the emotions of people around them. And why is that so important in firearms training, do you think?
Because a lot of our students are coming from traumatic backgrounds. I don't know about a lot of them.
We've all
Um,
got stuff though,
we've
Nat,
all
right? We've
got
all got
stuff.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a reason that each student signs up for each class, and I think if you're not willing to find out why they're signing up for your class, then why are you teaching them? Are
Mhm.
you just here to get the curriculum into their heads, or are you here to coach them and help them grow? You need to be knowing what they're feeling, what they're thinking, and what they need to know versus what you're wanting to teach. So I think
Right,
just
and
being attuned. What's that?
no, go ahead.
Oh, I think just being attuned to your students' emotions and just what is going on inside their head will help you more than just about anything else with coaching. I mean, you're not teaching a gun, you're teaching a student.
Right, that's so important. Yeah.
Mhm.
And we don't always know what's going on in people's heads, and we don't always have to know exactly what it is, but I do think, being cognizant of if they're overwhelmed or underwhelmed or
Yeah,
those types of things, like, as a coach, I think that, that tuning into that, as you say, it can be really the difference between just an okay experience for them or a huge confidence builder for them, and so I
right.
really appreciate that you, think that's important, and we talked about earlier too, like, because you're younger in the industry, I think that, you actually have an advantage in some ways. And I talk about this all the time as being a coach for newer students. I still remember what it's like to go to my first gun class,
Yeah.
and all of the things that you go through in doing that. So what do you think that maybe one of your, I call it like superpowers, but what do you think is one of your advantages in being a younger coach in the industry?
I think, ooh, well, can you ask the question one more time?
Sure. Yeah. Well, I was just, you remember when we talked the other day about, I think that we actually have an advantage being what some people in the industry consider to be newer to the industry, right?
Oh, yeah,
I
yeah.
think it's because we still remember what it's like to be a newer student. And for you, I think your age can be an advantage for that reason, because maybe the younger shooters might feel more comfortable with you as well.
Yeah.
Who knows? But yeah.
Yeah, having a brand new student mentality is amazing for especially like well-versed instructors, because you've been doing this a long time. You've taught a lot of students. You've started from the beginning with so many students and gotten them so far. But I think after you do this for a while, I think you start to kind of forget those first few pieces. I mean, I still
Hmm.
remember my first time on the range. I still remember the first time I called a magazine a clip and got absolutely obliterated for it. I still remember having to get explained how or what one in the chamber means. Like that concept took me a little bit when I was younger. I was learning when I was,
Hmm.
between 5 and 10. All of it was brand new.
Hmm.
And I, I see instructors who have been here a while, who they've been hunting all their life. I see all of those instructors uh, using sarcasm to beat down students that have questions. Now, like, there's easy things like when they have their thumb on the wrong side, and you can just say, "Hey, just move your thumb over there." But then they ask questions like, "Well, is this the way that the clip goes?" And then they get made fun of for it. And
Hmm.
I don't really want to learn from an instructor that's going to make fun of me for asking questions, even if I get it wrong.
Yeah.
I think that's just often where coaches get it wrong.
Hmm.
Is they forget that it's their first day in the range. It's their first day
Hmm.
picking up that gun. It's their first day actually taking that shot after they have worked up to it for so long. Just being really attuned to your students' emotions and remembering that they don't have the answer to any of the questions that they have right now. They only know two
Hmm.
things. One, that gun is dangerous. And two,
Hmm.
whatever you tell them. So, why are you using sarcasm to beat down newer students? And um, why are you belittling people?
Hmm.
Why are you handing me a little gun that can fit in my purse? Like,
Mhm.
why aren't we giving people actual life-saving advice? Why are we telling them that they're doing it wrong? You know?
Right, and I think that's part of meeting students where they are, which I think is
Yeah.
we talked about that's a huge passion of yours, is just meeting people where they are, and it doesn't matter from what walk of life they come from. Everybody,
Mhm.
like Tiffany said last week, everybody deserves the chance to be able to defend themselves and to learn, the training in order to do
Right.
that. And Jeff Gonzalez had a good thing that he talked about. I can't remember what week it was. It all blurs together now, but he said that he felt like the biggest problem in the gun industry was that like the top 3% of trainers were trying to drive the rest of the industry instead of the students that are coming into the classes driving the industry. Meaning like,
Right.
the people coming in with something that we think is maybe not what we would choose, and then gear shaming them for that. Well, why don't you help them work with what they have? Maybe there's a reason why they can't afford a nicer gun, or maybe they just don't know, or whatever the case may be. And we've talked about that in the cohort. Did you have anything you wanted to add to that, or?
Um, I mean, I think that we just need to make sure that we're having more inclusivity in the gun range world, or in the firearms industry world. I keep saying gun range. Um, I just
On the gun range?
Yeah. I mean, that too. I mean, that's where it goes. Uh why aren't we inviting all of our friends to the gun range to learn how to defend their lives? Why
Yeah.
aren't we equipping our students with the tools that are necessary to defend their lives?
Hmm.
Um, the gear shaming and the belittling just really got old after a while, and I'm kind of determined to change it.
Watch out. Natalie's
Watch out.
determined. Watch out. So, hey, let's move on to you are a palm pepper spray certified instructor. Is that right?
Yes.
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 Okay. And POM, for those of you that don't know, stands for peace of mind, palm pepper spray. And so I want to move into that if you're okay with that. And
Yeah.
let's just talk a little bit about um, uh, your opinion on carrying something less than lethal. So if you do decide to carry a firearm, yay, that's great. But what is your opinion about also carrying something with you that's less than lethal? And I'm going to ask you a few more questions about that.
Right. Yeah. Um, I think that if that's the tool that suits you best, that's the tool that you should use. I carry my gun and pepper spray. I think that having as many tools in your tool bag as possible is great. Um, I think that a lot of newer students maybe shouldn't start concealed carrying a gun as soon as they start training. You know, I did a lot of training before I started carrying. And even when I did, I started carrying with an empty gun just around the house just to make myself comfortable with it. You know,
Hmm.
the day
Just
I
a
turned
process.
18, I was like, okay,
Hmm.
got my Enigma. I'm ready to go.
Hmm.
um, but people that have gone their whole lives without touching a gun and then coming to a class, learning how to shoot it is amazing, great to hear. But carrying it around every day when you don't know what you're doing, maybe a coach can help you walk through that a little bit more. And I think that palm pepper spray is a great alternative. I carry palm pepper spray in my pajama pants just in case. um,
Hmm.
and I love teaching people about pepper spray. I've gotten to teach a few classes, or help teach a few classes, I should say. Um, I think that carrying a non-lethal and a lethal is probably the best option that you could do. But if you need to just carry a non-lethal, then just carry a non-lethal. I mean, if you
Hmm.
can't hit somebody with a 9 millimeter, then why are you carrying a 9 millimeter? You know?
Hmm. Well, you got to work
um,
with the tools that you have and know how to use them well. And is there
yeah.
anybody out there in the YouTube's land? I bet some of the people watching tonight know the answer to this. Remember, Natalie, when I asked you, I said, "Oh, I wonder what percentage of encounters, like if you're comparing when you have a non-lethal, if you have
Oh,
pepper spray on you, what percentage of the time can you use the pepper spray and instead of the gun and not dissolve the situation? What's the word I'm trying to think of?
de-escalate.
Maybe that's the word. Yeah. I wonder what the stats are about that because I imagine there are lots of instances where you don't need to go right to your gun. You could have de-escalated that in other ways, and I think that's part of the philosophy of active self-protection. When you say being able to protect yourself in the best way, and it not always having to be. Nobody wants to go to their gun as their only option. I wouldn't imagine.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really want to, I don't want my spidey senses to go off and then have to take somebody's life, no matter what it is.
Right.
I want to be able to have options. If
Right.
somebody just needs to get messed up for 6 hours, then maybe that'll
Right,
even be
and
more
you've
fun.
been messed up for 6 hours. Tell
I
us,
have been.
Natalie. So you've been sprayed twice? Tell us about that.
Yeah. So I was pepper sprayed. Oh gosh, it was probably like a year and a half ago now. Um,
Voluntarily though, right? Voluntarily.
Voluntarily. Yep,
Okay.
yep. I wanted to get POM certified, and so I took a class with active self-protection, and my dad was actually the one that was going to spray me, and so we go out back afterwards, and we got the camera on because we're the range. I'm the range monkey, um, and we decided to start. And I think I don't know if it was the fact that it was night, or that we were outside, or that there was shadows, or if it was just that my dad realized that he was pepper spraying his little girl.
I
But
think that's
he
what it
got
was.
above my eyebrows, right? He just missed a little bit, just a little bit too high. And so it did mess me up for a while, but I did not get the full effects. My eyes didn't like clamp shut.
Uh-huh.
And so I thought I was pretty tough stuff, I was like, oh hey, I'm in the 10%. I was so excited. And so I decided, okay, well, since we kind of missed, why don't I just do it again? Like let's get this rolling. And so we didn't do it the same night, but a different time. Let's see, it was probably like 2 or 3 weeks later. We went out and I had my the gun range manager, Nick, who I give him crap every single day. I made my entire career into just annoying him. We're best buddies, me and all the guys at the range were. And Nick got to be the one that pepper sprayed me, and he said, "Oh, I've been waiting for this since the day you started working here." And he got me in both eyes, so I got gotten good.
I saw that video.
Yeah, it was really intense. I could not even open my eyes. He was asking me how many fingers he was holding up. I think he said he was doing 2, but I swear I saw 7. Like, it was really, really bad, and it definitely gave me a lot of confidence in the tool that I carry, the spray.
And how long did it take to recover from that?
Yeah, it took, oh gosh, it was probably an hour-ish, kneeling down in a mop sink and just throwing baby shampoo into my eyes and water and eating Thin Mints. There's a whole video about it on my channel. You can go watch.
Did it make you like want to throw up or anything? Did it have any other effects on you besides just your eyes? And
it definitely made me start hyperventilating. I started to get a little bit anxious and like panic attacky because you can't breathe and you can't open your eyes. And so, with the water getting in my nose and stuff, it just started to make me panic. But luckily enough, I had my mom, my dad, my boyfriend was there. I had everybody there, so they were like, "Hey, just keep breathing." And breathing was the tool that I needed to get through it for sure.
Wow.
But yeah, it was nasty stuff.
That is
and the boys took me out for wings afterwards, for buffalo wings afterwards, and I'm still a little bit petty about it.
Oh my gosh. Wow. So I have a question for you since you're a palm girl. I want to know your opinion on gel versus spray. And then could you also tell me about, we talked about the whole saturation thing. Remember when we talked about that earlier?
Oh, yeah.
Could you explain that for the audience about gel versus spray and why?
Right. So there's a lot of different kinds of pepper sprays. There's gel, there's foam, there's spray. But with gel and foam, those are your 2 main options. And the thing is, gel does have some pros. It's heavier, so it'll go through wind and stuff like that. But the whole point of pepper spray is all of the liquid needs to evaporate for the chemicals to activate. So if you spray a bunch of gel onto somebody, it's going to take a lot longer to evaporate than just spraying them. And then you can get like a misting spray or you can get a stream spray. The misting spray is great because, you can get a whole crowd of people if you need to. Doesn't work great for wind or precision. So that's why I go with the liquid stream, because I can get the Z on their face and it'll all drip down and it'll evaporate as it drips down. So I'll get all of their face and then it will evaporate all over their face.
So that's the key then.
That's the key. Yep.
Okay. So accuracy is important then, because you said you were sprayed on your forehead and it didn't do as much as when actually it got into your eyes. So is that true then?
Yeah, we call it decon, but decontamination took about 2 to 3 hours when it was just the forehead, and it took like 6 when, by the time I couldn't feel the pepper spray anymore. It was about 6 hours. Yeah.
Wow.
The wind helped a lot, but it wasn't good in the car. Just all of that still dry air on you. So yeah, accuracy is definitely important. Saturation, I don't know if that's the right word for it or not, because saturation
Well, didn't you
is
say
important.
like overspraying is actually a negative thing or something? Or it can be?
Yeah, because a lot of people, if they, or not I guess I shouldn't say a lot of people, but you would think when you spray somebody, you spray them once and that'll get them good. You spray them twice, that'll get them better. And if you spray them 3 times, they're never going to mess with you again. That would be That would be
Like
all right
logic.
common sense. Yeah, all
Yeah.
right logic. But since you actually have to wait for the liquid to evaporate, if you spray it once, you're good. If you spray it twice, you're not doing great anymore. Now it's going to take about a minute for that to evaporate rather than, 10 to 15 seconds. And if you spray them 3 times, I mean, you just gave them a shower.
Huh. I never knew
So,
that. No, I forgot what my next question was because you got me off track there.
oh, that's okay.
Um, no. Oh, I know what it was. Can you talk about staging your pepper spray? So, whenever I'm in an environment that I'm not super sure of, I have it staged and in my pocket and actually like in my coat or something. So it's just right there ready to go if I needed it really quickly. So could you speak to that a little bit? Because aren't there some places you maybe don't recommend that you put it because you need easy, quick access to it?
Right. So the places that I most like to put my pepper spray are just right in the waistband of my pants, whatever pants I'm wearing. Like I said, I wear them in my pajama pants sometimes just because I forget it's there. But it's always on my nightstand if it's not in my pajamas. um, or front pockets are good, just somewhere where you can quickly get to it with one fluid motion. Now, where people get that wrong, especially since pepper spray is more advertised towards women, for
Mhm.
some reason we advertise that they put it in their purse, and I don't love that. um,
And why is
and
that?
right, so now I've always kind of known this. I mean, it's just something that you kind of learn after you teach a few of these classes, but I actually had a family member go through a personal experience where there was somebody in the gas station that was giving us trouble, right? I wasn't there, but I don't want to name names. There's
Mhm.
somebody in the gas station that was giving us trouble, and my family member had to reach into their purse to get their pepper spray, and it wasn't there because I'm not sure what pocket it's in. I'm not sure which direction it's facing. It took too
Oh.
long, and that could have been devastating. That could have been a devastating end to that story, but instead, it actually all worked out perfectly, and the other family member de-escalated the situation, and I think if I was there, I would have pepper sprayed the guy and probably made everything worse, but you do have to kinda take it with every situation. Um, but
Ah.
anyways, yeah, it's very near and dear to my heart that I teach people to carry their pepper spray on their person and not just, in the cup holder of your car or in your purse, because that's in another dimension. How are you going to get to that? You don't even keep your
Yeah.
phone in your purse typically.
Yeah.
You usually keep
Yeah.
your phone in your pocket so you can get to it quick enough. And you should be using that same priority with your pepper spray.
I
Another
totally
place
agree.
the other place that I kinda like to put it if I'm wearing, like, a dress or something and I don't have a waistband to put it in, I'll just wear tall boots and I'll put it right in the hem of my boots. And then I can just reach down and I feel like a spy kid. So, that's my other little cheat sheet.
Oh, I love you, Natalie. That's so fun.
I love you too.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, Natalie and I have gotten to know each other a little bit better because we are both part of the Active Cell Protection Instructor Certification Program. We're in cohort 6. And so
Mhm.
that's how we've gotten to know each other. Natalie, what so far, and we're not real deep in the weeds just yet, but we did have an in-person in South Dakota recently. Can you just say, maybe one or two things that you've most learned about yourself or learned in general about coaching that you've gotten from the program so far?
Right, yeah. So it really wasn't what I was expecting it to be. I was kind of expecting, it's a 6 month long instructor development class. And so
Mhm.
I thought it was going to be more like, here's what you should put in your curriculum. Here's the quickest way to teach problem students. Like I didn't know what it was going to be.
Mhm.
Um, and I think my mom and dad almost kind of kept it from me what it would be
Mhm.
to
That's
surprise
probably
me.
good.
And yeah,
Yeah.
probably good. And it has actually become like, oh my gosh, my favorite class so far. And I've taken classes from so many, dozens of instructors. And between Carrie Dudenhofer and Chris Bean, wow, I am
Yeah.
learning a lot. They are teaching me that all instructors are different and all students are different, and you really need to meet the student where they're at.
Mhm.
um, they're helping me understand why my brain works the way it does and how I can use that to my advantage to help my students work through stuff better in their brains. It's all about how people, my family's distracted me in the
I
comments.
know, the comments, there are just so many.
um, but I'm sorry, what was I saying?
What you're learning.
Completely lost it, mom. Okay, yeah, learning. So, yeah, I'm learning a lot. I'm learning about just how our brains work, and how our brains can work in relation to other people's brains, and how we are perceived from other people. We actually got paired up a few times, which was nice, and got to work one
Yeah.
on one a little bit. Yeah, just a lot of good character growth with this program. I'm learning a
Yeah,
lot.
totally. Yeah, and I'm learning a ton about myself, and I'm learning that and tell me if you learned this too, because that's why I'm sharing it. Because 'cause I'm like, "Well, maybe,
Hmm.
I don't know." But, I'm learning a lot about the way that I'm perceived by other people isn't how I realized I was being perceived. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
and I think that that happens a lot, and because we look at ourselves differently than other people look at us a lot of the time, and not in a bad way necessarily, just different. And so I think some of the exercises that we did were really advantageous to just know, because I don't know anywhere else where you get that kind of feedback, honestly. So
right.
I
Yeah,
think that's been good.
yeah, and yeah, it's been really nice for me. I really struggle with imposter syndrome, and I bet all of us typically do. um,
Hmm.
but it's been really, really nice having Chris Bean and Carrie Dudenhofer running this program, because
Yeah.
they've actually been two of my role models well before cohort started. Um,
Hmm.
Chris Bean was the one that taught me that I can do a sub-second draw. And he
Hmm.
helped me understand my brain a little bit more, and equipping me with all the confidence that I need to not be as nervous about shooting, because I used to be more nervous about shooting and more worried that something was going to go wrong. And Chris Bean
Hmm.
kind of helped walk through a few of those struggles with me, and so he has been a great role model for that reason. And then Carrie Dudenhofer. Oh my gosh. If you guys don't know Carrie, you have to go take a class with her. She is teaching me that I can be the best coach that I can be. She's showing me that somebody even as silly as I am could be an instructor, and it makes me so happy.
Yeah.
Carrie just is the light of my life.
Yeah, and they all bring something so different, so unique to the table, and they actually encourage that in us too, which I think is just so cool.
Yeah,
So we have tons of questions, Natalie. We're going to get to those here in a minute, but one last thing I want to touch on before we do that is
right.
talk to us about the importance of, and whether this is, you don't need to be a YouTuber to have this. This is if you're a new shooter or if you're just starting to come into the gun community, having a tribe, having a support system of people that have your back, that continue to help you to grow and be the best that you can be. I'm just wondering, like, being on YouTube's gotta be hard, and how do you deal with that? I mean, do you guys have a system or a strategy for there's haters out there, that there's haters out there. How do you deal with that? That's gotta be tough.
Yeah, it can definitely get on your shoulders after a while. Been doing the Range Monkey Chronicles for a couple years now, I guess I could say. Um, Developing a support system is the most important part of going on social media.
Yeah,
The amount of comments that you need other people to moderate for you is insane.
yeah,
Uh, Developing a support system and having people to cheer you on and show you how to be the best you that you can be is
mhm,
really important. Just encouraging character growth. I have found my support system with my parents a lot, with my range partners. And I've probably got 15 people in my support system, because that's the other thing. Social media makes it really easy to find people like Laura. You're
aw,
over here, like Laura.
yeah,
um, and John Correia down there, still over here. I'm
yeah,
getting my lefts and rights
yeah.
mixed up, but um, it's just really important to have people around that know how to get you in the right headspace. Um,
Sure.
kind of like Carrie Dudenhofer. She
Mhm.
just plays a huge role in my support system. Between showing me that there is room for me at this table, and showing me that there is inclusivity already in our community, I she cheers me on more than anybody else, and yeah, it's just really important to have people that encourage you. I don't think I could have gotten this far without all of the people that encouraged me. All these nerds, I'm gonna do it again. All these nerds down in the comments, they have been so supportive
Yeah.
and encouraging. I never thought that I would be able to get as far as I have in this community. I still don't think that I deserve to be as far as I am, but I
Oh,
just have so many
you do,
great people
Natalie.
cheering me on. So I could
Mhm.
not have done this without my team. Um, but
Yeah.
I'm glad that I have gotten far enough that I have a voice that I can use now. It's crazy.
That's good. That's awesome because, there's a lot of people it doesn't really matter the age, the fact that you're young. I mean, there are a lot of young people I know that look up to you, but there's probably a lot of older people that look up to you too, you know? If you've got something to say and it's of value to other people and you really truly care about other people, that comes through. It doesn't matter your age. So, I give you props because, I think of myself at your age, don't think I coulda done it, honestly. Don't think I coulda done it. So, where can people find you, Natalie, if they wanna look up the range monkey?
So on YouTube, if you search the Chronicles of the Range Monkey, almost nothing else will show up. So that's probably the
Pretty
easiest
unique
way.
search term there. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty unique. That's why I picked it. um,
Yeah.
no, but
Yeah.
if you go to Active Self Protection Extra on YouTube, that's where I live. And you can find the Chronicles of the Range Monkey down in there. I've got a whole folder. So yeah.
Yeah, there's a
And
whole
then, oh,
playlist just
actually,
of
I
the range monkey.
I got an Instagram too. I don't remember
Whoa!
what it's called. I am brand new to Instagram, but um, I'm sure it's just Range Monkey or something like that. I don't know.
Okay. Search up range monkey on Instagram.
Yep. Yep.
Okay, cool. Awesome. So let's get to the are you ready for the Q&A,
I
Natalie?
think so. I hope so.
Okay.
Let's see what we got.
Okay. Okay, cool. So let's see, I would probably just do these in order because it's way easier that way. Okay. All right. What is the hardest lesson you've learned when training?
The hardest lesson that I've learned.
And if you need to come back, that's okay.
I have had to learn over and over and over again that I don't have to beat my high score every single day. Uh, when I shoot a target that is less great, less tight than I would want it to be, um, I just have to remind myself I don't have to beat my high score. This is still progress. When I go and teach a class and maybe I fumble over my words a little bit more than I would like to, I don't have to beat my high score every day. It
Yeah.
feels like once you once you peak, once you get a sub-second draw, what else is there to do, right? Um, no, um, I just after I started getting such tight calves calves, I read my grandma's comment. After getting such tight groups and shooting so quickly, once I had off days, it was really hard to feel like I still deserved to be at this
Yeah.
table.
Yeah.
It felt like maybe, oh, I'm not in my prime anymore, just this
Yeah.
crazy.
You
And
have
it's
to
just
remember how far you've come.
exactly, yeah, and
Yeah.
everything is progress, and I just see so many newer shooters beating themselves up over getting pretty great groups,
Mhm.
and they were like, "Oh, well, I coulda done better than that. I did better than that yesterday." "Okay, well, you'll do better than it tomorrow then."
Yeah. Yeah, that's
So,
really good advice, Natalie, really good.
yeah, yeah, and
I
I'm
don't
still
know
learning that lesson.
Yeah, I learn it all the time. I relearn it
Yep,
all the time, yeah.
yep,
And it's good
yep,
to have that support system around you because they can remind you of that too.
exactly, yeah.
Okay. Oh, I know what this is. Okay, what is your least favorite and least favorite type of student to work with? That's the
Oh,
question.
brand new students are my favorite.
Me
They're my
too.
bread and butter.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, like I said, they don't know what they don't know. There's just there's so much low-hanging fruit, you know? Um, Oftentimes there'll be really quick little changes to make at the beginning, and then after that, you just gotta kinda help them get over the mental blocks, because, how much physical improvements are you gonna make on that first day? Quite a few,
Mhm.
but how many emotional, hurdles are you gonna be jumping over on that first day? So many more.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love teaching new shooters because I'm that empathetic kind of instructor that I feel
Mhm.
what they're feeling whether I want to or not. It is a
Yeah.
very strong feeling, and so if they are struggling and if they're scared, I can feel that, and I need to make sure that they feel safe. And so brand new shooters, I feel like it's easier to get them talking. I feel like they are not as, so proud of themselves. I feel like they know they can ask me questions. They know that
Mhm.
I will give them good, not sarcastic answers. And I will tell them,
Mhm.
I remember when I had to learn that for the first time.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, definitely brand new shooters would be my favorite. I don't know about least favorite. I feel like I
Probably
don't
the
know.
know-it-alls, don't you think?
No, I kinda like teaching the know-it-alls. Wait,
Oh,
do you
well,
mean the know-it-alls that actually know it all, like Adam Winch, or do you mean the know-it-alls
no,
that know it all, like
that don't really know it
the
all.
FUDs? Oh, see, I even like teaching them. It's so easy to get them tied up in knots. One time I took a guy's gun apart because he was disrespecting me on the range, and I was like, "We don't
No
disrespect
kidding.
women on this range," and I put it down. I was like, "You can go out there and I'll finish teaching your wife."
Oh, that's funny.
Oh, yeah, so I even like
Okay.
teaching them a little bit, but they definitely do get on my nerves. They are hard to teach.
Alright, so let's see here. Okay, I think Adam typed this one in. How do we create interest in defensive training in order to reach the younger crowd? Any
Right.
ideas on that?
Yes, yes, that is my whole thing, inclusivity. We need to make sure that we are arming, as many people with the self-defense tools that they need as we can. I mean, just because you think that that little skinny kid with the funky colored hair is gonna cramp your style at the range doesn't mean that their life isn't worth defending, you know?
Mhm,
Just because this person uses they them pronouns doesn't mean their life is not worth defending. Their life is
mhm,
absolutely worth defending, and we are the people with the knowledge that they need for it. So I think inviting people to the range and not being sarcastic and belittling would be my answer is how we can
mhm,
get some younger people in there because honestly, I mean, obviously, I have worked with a lot of adults. I haven't worked with a lot of kids my age or anything. But I know how we feel, and we don't like when adults tell us that we're doing everything wrong and they make fun of us for not knowing how to use a rotary phone, like that kind of thing. We don't like getting made fun of. I know how to use a rotary phone. I do, but I'm using that as an example. I mean, you don't need to make fun of the kid. Um, if you uh, if you're gonna make fun of a kid, they're not gonna come back. They're not gonna wanna learn anything from you, and they're not gonna want to, continue learning with you, and I just don't
Right.
understand why people need to make jokes about like, on the range, you know what I mean? I
Yeah.
think
Yeah, well, there's a time and place, yeah.
yeah, just being open-minded, um,
Mhm,
and yeah, and jokes are definitely good to ease tension and, just, meeting your student where they're at, but once it becomes a belittling thing and once it becomes a, "I'm just being a know-it-all and showing off all of the knowledge that I have," that's
mhm.
trash. That's none of us are interested in that. None of us youngsters are interested in somebody coming up and word vomiting all of the words that we don't know what that means.
Yeah,
We want somebody to come and explain to us in clear, concise terminology and explain the things to us that we need explained to us. So we need somebody
yeah.
to listen.
What
So,
was that comment, Adam? Put that comment back up about Lorax, that was great.
what?
The there was a comment about she's the Lorax that speaks for the teens.
I
It
love
caught
that.
my eye. I think it's 'cause my name was in it, and I thought that, yeah, anyway.
Oh.
Okay, let's move on to the next one here. Okay, it
Okay.
says, you became an incredible shooter and role model in a relatively short time. Who in your life has been your greatest influence, and who and how do you typed it too fast. How do you recommend others become as skilled as you?
Oh,
So who
yeah.
has been your greatest influences, and how do you recommend others to become as skilled as you?
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes. Neil Weidner, Stephannie Weidner, Carrie Dudenhofer, Chris Bean, John Correia. I'll put you in there, John. No, yeah, I think. Oh, Brian Hill is definitely another one.
Mhm.
Uh, yeah, I'm probably forgetting a couple, but those have been the very prominent instructors that have taught me what I know, and
Mhm.
that have taught it to me in clear, concise terminology that has helped me advance so quickly. I think that's why I have advanced so quickly, because I don't know, I got a lot of training from a lot of really good instructors, and that's how I got here. I don't know all of the terminology myself yet. Um, I had to learn it by taking classes, but I luckily got a lot of the best national instructors, and that's because they know how to teach. So
Mhm.
those few names that I named, those would probably be the teachers that I would send people to.
Okay, and I know who wrote this too, because it says, "What gun gear do you carry, and what kind of gun do you carry, and why aren't you carrying an H&K yet?" You know who wrote that. That was Adam.
Yep. Okay. I'm not carrying an H&K because I like my Beretta PX4 Storm. It is a compact version. Um, I absolutely love it. I just got my green dot on it last Christmas, which is pretty exciting. Um, I prefer it because it fits the shape of my hand. And a
That's a
lot
good
of people
reason.
do wanna yeah, a lot of people do wanna give me crap for not shooting an H&K like everybody else, but what have we learned tonight, folks? It's all about the student that's shooting the gun.
What have
So
we learned?
what have we learned? Just think about it, just be smart. Um, I love carrying my Beretta. Yeah, I don't know. I've shot a lot of other guns too. I mean, when I worked at the range, we had a whole case of rental guns in the whole case full of rental guns. Okay, I said that right. And I went and shot all of those all the time. And shooting all the different ones, I did really realize that the gun that I shoot, my Beretta, does fit my hand the best, and I like shooting it the best. I think it's just because of the shape of the grip. Because my master grip, it fits chef's kiss perfectly. And like the H&Ks, they hurt my pinkies.
Really?
Like
Huh.
like the finger grooves,
Mhm.
my pinky lands like right on
Oh,
one of them, and so I get
uh-huh.
like the skin rubs right there, and it's just uncomfortable. So
Hmm.
when now it helps me focus on my pinkies for sure. I
Yeah.
can't be aware of anything except my pinkies when I shoot them. Um, but after a while, it gets old. So I'll definitely shoot an H&K. Those are great guns, and they're super fun too. But for everyday carry, I'm gonna carry what fits me. So, and I
That's
carry it in an
awesome.
Enigma. So
Yeah, I'm an Enigma fan too. So,
yeah,
I think Adam thinks I need to get pepper sprayed. I don't know that we'll do that live on air, but, I don't know if I guess I could probably handle that, but we'll see. That's for
yeah.
another day. Mike wants to know, if you could hold up a sign for every new customer or student to read the moment they walk into your store or range, what would it say? I know, I don't know where that came from.
In order to avoid annoying questions or someone's condescension, I'd have to think about that.
I know, we might need to come back to that. Let that one marinate for just a minute.
Yeah, yeah. Let that marinate for a second.
Okay, Amanda wants to know, will you be teaching any classes at the ASP National Conference this year?
Ooh, I think that might be an answer or a question for the CEO of Active Self Protection if she wants to join in the comments. I'll definitely be out and about around there. I'm so excited for the national conference. I don't know that I will be teaching any classes, but I'll definitely be down there taking them. So
And John, I don't know what this means exactly, but it says we can probably arrange a live
a live
exposure at the
exposure,
conference.
yeah, yeah. Mom was saying that she hasn't gotten to spray anybody earlier in the comments. Um, So I think they're probably wanting you to get sprayed a live exposure at the conference.
Oh, okay. That's what that means. Okay. I
It's all
wasn't
right. I'll
sure.
do it again with you. No worries.
That would be crazy if we did it together. Oh my gosh,
Yeah,
can you imagine?
I would
Oh
do it
man.
again. I like the
Uh,
adrenaline.
I wouldn't mind the adrenaline, but the hyperventilating, I don't know. We'll have to see about that. I might need to like work through that. Okay, and then Haven Defense Company. Adam, would you stop? Oh, Haven Defense Company, when will you adopt the new name Honey Badger? He says.
See, I love that, but we already printed merch. We've
Oh.
got Range Monkey t-shirts already.
Can people go somewhere to get those? Is that like a public thing or
Yes. Do not know where. Probably the Active Self-Protection website. That's where I would
Yeah,
send
I
you.
think we
Sorry,
have
sorry, mom and
that. I
dad.
think I think we have that banner that we could put up, Adam, for
Yeah.
that. Wow. So we're like pretty much on the hour now, Natalie, which is insane.
Oh,
That flew by.
it did.
And I think we answered everyone's questions. Hi, Adam.
I thought there was one that John Correia asked, but I didn't see
Was
what it
there?
was.
It was the live thing at the conference. Or maybe there was another one that
Oh.
Adam missed. Did you miss one of John's questions, Adam?
No, he's just picking on her.
Oh, okay.
Hey, Natalie, I'm hoping
Yeah.
my internet doesn't freeze up. I want to tell you, I got to see you last weekend, just like Laura did down in Sioux Falls for the Active Self-Protection Instructor Certification course for the cohort there. And I got to tell you, I walked away with deep admiration. Thank you for what you're doing in the 2A community. Thank you for what you're doing as one, as a human, but two, as somebody who's so thoughtful and kind and really able to outshoot the vast majority of people out there and being able to lead them to it. You're truly
Yeah.
becoming one of the leaders out there. And I just want to tell you, from my little perspective, I and we at Defenders are so proud of you, and we're just happy to know you.
Oh, well, thank you,
Yep.
Adam. Well,
He's so good at that.
he is so good at that.
Yeah.
That made me realize what my sign would be to Mike
Oh,
Williver's question a minute ago.
okay.
It would be, "Watch your step, Junior." Just watch your step, Junior. That's all I need, and they'll know. They'll know.
And they'll know what that means. They'll know what that
Yeah,
means.
just that's my whole mantra for 2023 is call them Junior. They
Watch your
can't do
step, Junior.
anything after you've called them Junior. That's what my dad says.
Well, your dad's usually right, so I bet that's right.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, is there anything else you wanna share with our audience, Natalie, before we wrap up here? I'm gonna be telling everybody who's gonna be on next week, and you're gonna wanna tune in for that, but before I
Yeah.
do that, is there anything else that you wanna leave people with before we wrap up?
Don't carry your pepper spray in your purse. Carry it on your body. If you don't have pockets, put it in the waistband of your pants, Madison. Um, be inclusive, and call him Junior. I'm gonna point to the wrong side again, but call him Junior. That's probably what I would leave you with. Just 3 things. And meet your meet your students where they're at for sure.
Yeah, yeah, I think that's a great, great lesson for all of us. Well, thank you so much for joining me tonight, for spending time
Yeah,
with all of us. You've been a pleasure. I knew you'd be a blast. I was looking forward to this, and
this was really fun.
it was, yeah. You're a ball
Yeah.
of energy, and very well spoken. I mean, guys, how old are you, Natalie? Are you 21
No, my 21st birthday is next week, and I'm having my
now?
grandma and then her best friend from kindergarten come up for my 21st, and I'm so excited. I'm not gonna
Oh
get
my
peer
gosh,
pressured into drinking so much that I throw up. I'm gonna have a margarita with my grandma and Darlene and go to bed at 9,
oh.
and it is gonna be
That's
amazing.
awesome. Yeah, well, what I was gonna say was that you would never guess Natalie is 21. Like, think back, guys, to when you were 21. Were you like Natalie? I certainly was not. So I really admire you and respect you for what you're doing in the community. And just thank you again for your time. And
Yeah, thank
maybe we'll have
you.
you back on again sometime.
That would be
All right. Whoops, I just cut her off. I'm so sorry, Natalie. I didn't mean to do that. So next week, guys, we have Chris Bean on. So let's see, March 22nd will be next Wednesday. We're going to have Chris Bean. He is from Tactical Advantage, and Natalie did talk about him earlier in the broadcast. So he's one of the instructors at the Active Self-Protection Instructor Certification Program, but I've also, I think, seen him as a guest with Brian Hill. I think he works with the Complete Combatant at times as well. And if you've never met Chris, you are in for a treat because he is a very brilliant mind. I think that I've never, ever met anyone like Chris Bean before. He is somebody that has a really deep curiosity for what makes people tick and a huge heart for helping others get where they want to be as shooters and just as humans in general. I mean, he has a huge heart and he's just brilliant. So you won't want to miss next week's interview. I know I am really looking forward to it. So tune in next week, March 22nd. That's Wednesday at 7 p.m. Mountain Time. We'll see you then. Until then, take care.